Well, it came from, watching tape, watching film, trying to get our team on track a little bit. And then we had to make sure that the team bought into it. I'd started to talk about it already, a couple games ago, just to see if we couldn't jumpstart something. And Clint was on board, and obviously Nico, Victor, those guys, they were on board, and this seemed to be a good opportunity to roll it out there. We only had 4 games left, and we need to, if that is the system going forward, then we needed to try it and get it to click. So we'll watch this tape. We'll try and see what we do in Philly. That'll be a tougher game. We might go back to a different formation, but we'll see.
Moss?
Yeah, what did you see within the formation? What were the players doing? They looked like they're really self-expressed in the middle of the field, and there's a lot of creativity. Is that fair to say that?
Yeah.
What you saw?
Yeah. Well, whenever you play with, the false 9, whatever you want to call it, I think it just suits Clint's skill set, staying higher up the field and then dropping into the pocket to combine with Victor and Nico. I thought that was good. And then you had the energy and enthusiasm of Christian, Kelvin, and Jovan, providing a 3-pronged kind of attacking movement to get in behind. So you allowed Victor, Dempsey, and Nico to play there, and those other guys did their job too. So it wasn't just the front 4; it was the team as a whole.
Matt Pence?
Were you at all concerned about getting Nico more involved in the attack, and do you think that it had that impact within the midfield, having Clint farther up the field?
No, I wasn't worried about Nico. He's a very talented player. I just think it's one of those games where it clicked, it worked. Those guys enjoyed playing with each other. I think the team as a whole was getting a little irritated. That streak was a good streak. 13 games unbeaten is a great accomplishment. But it also kind of wore on us a little bit as we were kind of getting some of those draws and not the results we wanted. And so this group was going to have a breakout game. So I think that was tonight.
Harvey, you still have one?
I do. The decision to move Jovan back to left back after he'd been playing left mid a little bit and move Christian out of the defensive midfield, was there a particular thought that went into that, or just kind of you thought it was the best bet?
Well, Jovan Jones has had, in my opinion, his best games playing at left back. When he comes from a little deeper position, I think he has more comfort with it. I think he can, make the timing of those movements a little bit better. Playing in the midfield is a different beast. You still can get forward. He still does what he does. So, I've played Nuhu, and I like Nuhu behind him as well in certain moments. But we just felt that I wanted to get a real attack-minded group out on the field, and that's what Jovan provides.
Nikos, still have one?
Yes. So it's a great night, but 2 players come off with some injuries. Any updates on Ozzy or Roman?
They're tough kids. It'll be day to day on Roman. Ozzy has a strained quad, but as what he proved last year, he'll come back and he'll feature for us in the last couple games.
Matt?
Speaking of tough kids, your thoughts on Roldan's performance and fighting through what looked to be an injury himself?
Another stellar performance. What was he, number 13 on the 24 for 24?
That's correct.
Probably should have been a little higher, in my opinion. But I'm maybe a little biased, but should be higher. He consistently puts in good performances, not just physically, but tactically and technically. He puts in really solid performances.
Michelle?
The team was energized and congealed. I mean, just from the first couple of minutes of play going into halftime. What does a coach say to a team that looks that good?
At halftime?
Yeah, at halftime.
Well, I'll start from the beginning. I think the crowd helped. I think there was a big crowd there tonight. I think the energy in the building energy in the building was good. And so the crowd had something to do with our fast start. Again, I think we had a determined group of guys. At halftime, they weren't satisfied with 1-0. They were all saying, "Let's go. We can't stop playing. We need to keep pushing." And so I just reiterated basically what they were already talking about, and just said, "Yeah, we have to keep possession in their half of the field." What I didn't like, a couple of balls late in the first half, we played a little tentative. We always played the ball backwards, negative, back to Steph. He'd kick it down the field, and it was a 50-50. I wanted us to still find Clint. I wanted us to still find Victor and Nico in the gaps there so that we could play forward.
Brian?
Coach, first points for Victor tonight. Was there anything he did differently, or was it just in your mind always coming?
I thought it was always coming. I mean, integrating a new guy into the group, always has its little test phase, test period. But Chris Henderson had told us, a long time ago that Victor was a good player, and I think we're all seeing that now.
Ari?
You obviously never want to have to go without Ozzy, but do you feel like with Gustav and how he's played this year, is he some of the best cover you've had for Ozzy you can think of since you've been here?
Well, I would hesitate to just compare Gustav to a replacement for Ozzy, because in his own right, he got called in again to the Swedish national team. He's a good player. And where he fits in our kind of team, what we've done with him this season is a testament to his versatility. But he's a very, very talented player. And whether he played as a center back down in Dallas to get a draw, or whether he came tonight and really helped Marshall along the back line, he's a quality player. So I wouldn't say he's anybody's replacement. I would just say he's a very handy piece to have, and I hope that he, stays here for a long time.
Felipe?
Coach, tonight was a solid game, and all the players played really good. What can you tell us about Stefan Frei, his save?
Well, I called it the save because I think it's almost better than the one he had in the final. It was a tremendous, tremendous save. It kept us in the game. I'm sure Freddie thought that was going in. But he has consistently come up with big saves throughout his career. And, he's 11 shutouts now, which ties him with Casey Keller, which is a big accomplishment. So he continues to impress, he continues to amaze us, and I'm very pleased to have him.
Saw a few hands for follows. Let's start with Matt.
You touched on this earlier in the week, but given that your guys have been a little bit irritated with your streak and given where you're at in the season, was this a game that you guys really did need in order to spark your last couple of games here?
Yeah, for sure. We needed to play well. I think if the result maybe wouldn't go our way, it would have been, damaging for sure. But as long as we played well and then we would have made the playoffs, then I think we would have given ourselves a chance. But if the formation didn't work or we didn't get a result, I think it would have knocked us on the chin a little bit. So we did need this one.
Steven, I missed you, and I'm sorry.
This is the first time that Vancouver's come to Seattle as the top team in the West in the MLS era. Was there any added motivation for you, maybe being the underdog at home against them for the first time?
No. I think the motivation, I had mentioned the Cascadia Cup before the match. We're still in that. It's a rival. The standings didn't play a big part in it. I think measuring up against your peers, Portland and Vancouver always gives the guys a little bit of added edge anyway. So it wasn't because just they were in first place. It was just because it was the Whitecaps and it's Cascadia and it's, it was a big game.
Right here.
Coach, last couple games you guys have struggled, especially in the final third. Tonight you seem to have much more success finding space and scoring 3 goals, obviously. Is there anything you can put your finger on that made the difference or prep up to this game?
I think maybe we might have become a little predictable. I might say that. Our 4-2-3-1, we didn't change out of the formation. We just changed personnel in different positions. And so they all knew the roles and responsibilities of that position. They just played it with their own flair. So I think that kind of helped spark us a little bit.
Matt Johnson in the back, follow
Did
up.
you send a message throughout the West, whether they're in first place or not, that 3-0 pounding a rival?
Matt, I would say no. I think that the message is yes, we had a good performance. Yes, we beat the #1 team. You can say all of that, but the message is just, okay, we're going to start to play well. And we have, 3 more games to really solidify a good playoff seed. And that's what we're focused on.
Harvey?
Going back to Stefan Frei for a minute, you've been pretty vocal over the years about how much you like the work of keeper coach Tommy Tupper. Has he ever come to you, and the two of you talked about, does Steph seem to have a special something that allows him to make those saves, or is it just solid technique and hard work?
I'll tell you 2 things. One about the man individually, and then about Tommy. So when I tried to give him some credit in the locker room, he immediately said, no, it was the guys in front of me. That's testament to Steph's character. I think the work he does on the field, he works really hard. Tyler and Brian work hard as well. All 3 of them do. The amount of work that the goalkeepers do here at this club, I think propels them to be better athletes, better players, and have a tougher mindset. And that starts at the top with Tommy. Tommy instills that sense of pride in working hard, and it's paid off with all the goalkeepers that we've had at this club.
Miss anybody? Ryan?
Coach, all week you were concerned about Vancouver's counterattack, and you guys got a couple of counters of your own tonight. Was that something you were expecting, or was that just something that kind of came to fruition and executed really well?
The messaging has been consistently, again, all year long, that whenever you can play forward, we must play forward. Tonight, it just happened. One of those games where, we were playing forward and breaks came, and Clint would check off the back line and start the break with, Christian, Joven, and Kelvin, like I said. I think today was just one of those days where everything fell into place. But again, it's just one game, and we are really focused on now Philly and, just keeping this moving, a new streak, and heading into the playoffs, making sure we're playing at the top of our level.